Hey, it's Connor from Advanced Archery. Just going to go over some of the tools you want to have and a few spare parts for your recurve setup. Always handy to have a spare rest just in case it breaks when you're out at the club or out shooting. So spare rest so that you can replace it. Generally like a spare nocking point, either a tie on, some thread to tie one on, or a brass one. And if you've got a brass one, then a pair of nocking point pliers is really handy. Crimp it on, and if you get one that's got a little remover on here, then you can take it off, move it up and down so you can really fine tune your nocking point and make sure you get it bang on in the right place. The other tools that are really useful to have, main one's going to be your T-square. A couple uses for that. One, we can put it on the string and we can check our nocking point. So put it on there, line it up with our rest, and then we can see exactly what our nocking point is, and that also allows us to fine tune it as we need. Generally it's going to change on different bows and shooters, but as a general rule for a split finger shooter, you're going to be at about 3/8 of a 3/8 above your square, above your wrist. So that's split finger, so 1 over the nock and 2 underneath. And then for 3 under, I find generally around that 1/2 inch is a pretty good starting point, and then we can move it up and down to really fine tune it. If you're not too sure about fine tuning it, probably easiest at this stage just to get in touch with us and we can walk you through it, or bring your bow into the shop and we can help. The other really handy thing is we can use it to check our brace height. So when we take the string on and off, it's got twists in it, so you don't want to just take it off and let it go, because then it can unravel, which is going to make it either shorter, well, if it unravels and make it longer, and that's going to affect your brace height, which affects your bow's tune. So it's a good habit to get into, of checking it once you string it up, making sure it's the same as it was at the time before. And different length bows and different models are going to have different brace height requirements, but generally you have about a 1/2 to 3/4 inch band. So as long as you're in that band for your bow, and then you can fine tune your arrow flight with your brace height and also how the bow performs. So really handy for one, just making sure it's consistent from time to time, so every time you shoot, you're shooting with the bow set up exactly the same. And if you're using a ILF system where you've got the option to play with your tiller bolts to set your tiller, you can also use that by setting it right up against the limb there and then measuring to the string. Same with the brace height, which is from the grip to the string. So you can check that on the top and bottom and make sure it's set how you like it. And we do that when we set the bows up in here, but if you like playing around with it or you can't bring it in, really handy tool. One other really good use for it is if you're replacing your rest or you're getting a new string, you can always use that set on there, write down what your nocking point was before you changed it, so then when you put it back on, you can make sure it's going back into the same place it was before. Because if you've done all the work to tune it, handy so that you can just set it straight back in the same place. You don't have to go through the whole process all over again. The other thing that's good, a bit of wax just to keep the maintenance on the string. When we've got the string here, we've got our center serving, and then up the top here we've got our end servings. The string under that is all protected. It's just the exposed strands where, as you're shooting, it's going to have more contact, it's going to rub, more exposed to the elements. So I'm going to take our wax, rub the wax on just a little bit, and then I like to just get my fingers and just really rub it in. You don't want to get too much wax on it, because if you get too much wax, then it starts to attract dirt, gets stuck to it. So then when you're shooting, then now that dirt is causing abrasion on the string. So just want to put a little bit on and rub it up and down just on those exposed strands. So rubbing it all through there. And then those are the kind of main tools. The other one as well on an ILF system is going to be your limb alignment. So generally it's best if we can mount this somewhere in the press or in a vise. It's going to pop onto the limb, and then we're going to be able to put one on each end. Then we can line up the string down the center of the bow and through the limbs, and we want that to line up through the center of these gauges on the marks here. So I usually line it up with the tiller bolt through there, through the grip, and then it should line up bang on both. If it doesn't, that's where your limb alignment in here, so we can move the ILF shim across, and that's going to pivot the angle of it so we can get that alignment perfect. So that's all the tools you really need to get, make sure you've got everything to look after the bow and make sure it's set up and tuned how you want. We've got all of these in store, so get in touch and we can get you all sorted. And if you don't, if you're not too sure what to do, get in touch with us. We can help walk you through the process, or bring the bow in and we can get you all sorted.